Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Inktober. Today is October 14th, so we are on drawing number 14. So we are going to start the episode off with looking at drawing number 13, yeah, which would be Rise. The intro for this, the Stream Elements intro for this is wrong for some reason, so I was reading that and that was not the correct. Sorry, let's start over. So we're going to jump back and look at what we did yesterday, which was day 13, and the word was Rise. So let's jump into the studio and let's see what we got for that. So this is what we got for Rise. I finished, let me get rid of my virtual camera for a second. So I finished Rise. Yesterday the viewers asked for a hot air balloon, so I added a hot air balloon into the top of this picture, showing rising into the air. Also, I did a classic Japanese sunrise, and I drew that in the background. This one I only did the outlining on. I was thinking about also doing black, but I felt like the black was either going to be way too much or I couldn't figure out where it would really end. But I'll show you the solution I had to that problem in a second. Anyways, I put an old pickup truck here in the corner, kind of giving it that nostalgic feeling of someone getting up early in the morning, and there's a small cup of coffee with some steam coming off the top of it. I had a lot of fun with this one. I think it would look really good colored, but I didn't want to add all the black in. But let me show you what I did do. Because I didn't add all the black in, I decided that I had some extra time, and I took out the good old composition book, which is my iPad. So if I pop over into Procreate, I can show you what it would have looked like if I had drawn and colored it in black. I filled the color in and tried to do a little bit of shading, but this is an easy way to work on your pieces while they're in progress, when you don't want to mess them up. I know for me, a lot of times I'll get to a point where I really like a piece, but I don't know if I add one thing, if it's going to mess it all up or not. So what I did here was I took a picture of it originally. So you can always just go to your photos and grab your photo of your picture, and it'll import it into your gallery. And then I made mine bigger to fit the page, and then I colored it in. Whoop. I think I double tapped and it disappeared. But still, I don't know. There's some things I really like about it. I think the lighting on this is really harsh. Like if you were to shade it, and I did a version of where I shaded it in with the black shadow from the sunrise, because you wouldn't get too much light. You might get a bunch of light here in this crack right here, but most of this would be probably, I don't know, I would say like if you were really going to do this, and let me just add, for example, and I'll just add color. Let's just add a gray, and we're gonna run a new layer so it won't mess up our other layer. Like in reality, let's do something else. Oh, we can't. Never mind. But in reality, most of this back would be gray, or in the shadow, you'd get like little pieces of white there. Most of this would be in shadow, and you'd have things in shadow off that side. So this is a good way just to like kind of mess around and like add color quickly, you know, get some ideas out. And lost that piece of snow. And so like everything is kind of in the shadow. This coffee cup is in the shadow, the back of the truck is all in the shadow. So you get to a point where you almost don't have any. Oh, sorry. So when I colored in the truck to try to see where the light would hit it, I was guessing the light would have hit it somewhere, you know, here. This would have been shadowed, you know, and it just became too dark. The whole picture would have just became highlights, which is what it's supposed to be. You know, like that's what it's supposed to be. This would be all shadowed. We'd have like peaking light, but mainly shadows, like really very little light. And you might have light like coming down the front of the face of that, but the majority of this would even be a shadow. I know we're not working on this picture today. This was for yesterday. But I'm just trying to experiment a little bit because I always get worried that like, oh, I'm going to mess it up or it's not going to look right. So maybe like that. Parking block would be shaded on this side. Right. This whole balloon would be in the shadow almost. Pretty much. Maybe a little shine out that one side, but mainly in the shadow because we're looking at this side of the orb. I mean, for sure this back end is going to be in the shadow. Maybe get up to there. And I'm just doing a real quick job filling things in, not really trying too much, just trying to block in some light, you know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know, but there would be a lot of shadow in this if we were to do it with ink. Hi Kylie, thanks for joining us. Anyways, that's the digital version if we went digital, but we didn't go digital. I stayed tried and true, and I just did the ink outline. So that's what I got for that, and I was pretty happy with it. I liked it. I think it would look good with some color, some blues, some yellows, you know, some actual whites, and then like some gray and maybe some other types of shading. It would be interesting to see maybe what you could do with like watercolor or something like that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this one. Let's pull this one off and let's get the next one started because we are on day 15. Day 15. Wow, we are almost halfway there. Tomorrow will be the one more than halfway point, kind of. Since there's 31 days in October, tomorrow being the 16th or the 15th will almost be the halfway point. All right, Rise, you're all done. You're going in the folder right behind Spicy. All right, that one's all done. Let's figure out what we're doing for the next one. So if you haven't seen the show before, what I do is I roll to see what size paper I'm going to be drawing on, and that usually has a lot to do with what I end up drawing. So we're going to roll the dice, which I have here, and we're going to see what they say. Okay, so first things first is we need to know what word we're using. So let's hop over to the desktop and check it out. So on our desktop we just finished Rise, which was the one you just saw. And today we're going to be doing Castle, which is kind of unfair because I've done a lot of castles within my drawings. Spicy, I drew a castle in the background of that one, and the word path, which was number 3, I also drew a castle on the top of the path. So I'm kind of burnt out on castles, but that's the word, so we're going to have to try to figure out what we're going to do with that. Anyways, let's write down the word and let's get started. Back into the studio. Alright, so the word is castle. What kind of castle should we do? Castle. We're going to do the height first and then the width. We haven't got an extremely large piece of paper yet, which is surprising. I'm also kind of excited because that keeps everything within the 8.5 by 11, although that is not true because some of the pieces are drawn sideways, so it still won't quite fit in a coloring book. I don't know. We'll see if I end up making any prints of any of these. Alright, let's get to drawing. Enough chit chat. So roll the dice. 5. So it's going to be 5 inches tall. Our height is 5. What is our width? Our width is 9. Okay, so we have a 5 by 9 sheet of paper, which I believe I don't have scrap for, so we're going to have to get a new piece. That's okay. It's easy to do. Let me put my dice away and put my post-it notes aside so we don't start getting too many things out here. I'm going to grab a sheet of cardstock. Good to go. And then we're going to do our normal zoom on out. Whoa! So that you don't have to look at like the poorly built scenery. Okay, so we need 5 by 9. Let's get out our trusty paper cutter that seems to be giving me trouble today. Put it down softly. Oh, there's the little truck that I referenced for Rise, hiding somewhere. Hiding. Alright, let's cut our paper at 5 inches for its height. I still think I should do an ASMR paper cutting channel. That's it. Just cut paper all day long. Just sitting here cutting different types of paper and trying to see what they sound like. But that would be lazy. I would be lazy. Ooh, a sandcastle. I've also drawn a sandcastle. Oh, that was not in Inktober though. I drew a sandcastle in one of the in the 15-word challenge, the one that I really challenged myself to do as many words as I possibly could. Alright, so there we go. I pre-cut some tape today so we can get started quickly and we're not wasting a whole lot of time. Sandcastle would be pretty cool. Sandcastle's a lot of different shapes. And then you have to make it look like sand, so you need a little bit of texture. I did draw one. I don't think it's in with these drawings. It's over somewhere else. I wish I had it for reference, but I don't know exactly where it is. It looked okay. I don't know how I drew the sand. Okay, but that's besides the point. We're going to start off with where we always do and draw the border. Alright. Sorry, so quiet. I just need complete concentration to draw a somewhat straight line that's not straight. Jiminy Christmas, that's terrible. Ugh. I need to get better at drawing straight lines across that way. It's like driving, you gotta look at the end point. Look where you need to go. Oop. That was bad. I've just made that one worse. I mean, it is October. It would be kind of cool to make a sandcastle, but like not your traditional sandcastle. Like do an old haunted. I don't know what those are. I'm gonna take a quick look. Let's just jump into the split screen because I do have some old haunted houses. So on Discord, hold on, let me get there first and then I'll jump everyone in. Alright, split screen. So back to Midjourney a little bit. I'm getting a little bit of a lag, but we're okay. I'm trying to think of where the original Midjourney stuff started. It might be too far. I don't know what the prompt was. I think we were still doing initial prompts. Just real quick, I'm gonna take a look. And see if I can find it in its folder. Should just take me 1 second. I think this is the easiest way to find it. Need to go to look for things. It's hard when you have so many projects going. Nope, those are all rabbits. We did rabbits for quite some bit. When did we start doing styles? I don't know, I'd have to find the picture, which is really annoying. That's what happens when you have 3,000 Midjourney generations. It's not phobias. Would have been towards the end though. One more. Ooh. There they are. I found them. Let me pick the one I want to use as That's not a castle, that's a haunted house. And a haunted house is not a castle. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at right now. So here's the visual. I was doing coloring book images on Midjourney, and so but these are haunted houses, which wouldn't qualify as a castle. But I was thinking of putting like a little ghoul building a sand castle. But the word is not sand. Every man's home is his castle. Are we trying to find loopholes in the system? I love loopholes in the system, but I try to take it at very face value. But it would be cool to do a haunted house in the sand with like a ghoul or some sort of like, you know, small creature building it. And it being a sunny day. I just like the contrast of the beach and then something else made. So even if we're gonna do sandcastle, let's start just blocking some stuff in. So we might if we draw faster, we might have a shorter episode, and that might be beneficial for everyone involved. Alright, so I'm going to jump over into the studio and we're just going to get started drawing. Let me zoom you back in so we can get the best image for everyone watching. Put it there. Ugh, I don't like that it's not centered and this green thing's bothering me, so we're going to move that. The word is castle. It's on a 5x9 sheet of paper. And let's get started. So even if I wanted to, here's our horizon line, right? Let's just block everything in real quick to see where everything's going to be. And I want like the waves coming up like that. So just kind of touching the beach, and I think we'll have a little bit of a, does it go? No, we would need a little bit of this. Okay, that can be figured out later, because we're gonna have to draw water and maybe a wave, you know, like a wave coming in. The beach is this way, but waves come in all sorts of angles, but usually straightforward, and they come out of another section. I don't know, I'll have to look up waves and kind of get a feel for what that's going to look like. It's kind of like the shape is opposite of a cylinder, like wrapped around a cylinder. Like, anyways, we're not worried about that. What we are probably going to have to put in the background is probably some beach umbrellas. Let's just block those in real quick just so that we kind of know that there's people and get everything kind of laid out. I don't know why I put that in the middle. That's not great. I want to put my castle right here or whatever. we're going to make. It's just blocking a lot of space for it, saying that it's going to take up a lot of room. What I kind of wanted to do was have like, it's too close. It's going to make everyone real small. Okay. Thought process. The original idea was to put like something like a person here, maybe a kid playing with a bucket. No, if they're building the sandcastle there, they're gonna be coming up with a bucket from this area. So let's just draw in a little block in. Someone kind of walking up. You could put a hill here. It's like the water, sand. Maybe this is on a different plane. Here's our person. We're gonna block in our person here. Just real quick. And then maybe, one arm on the bucket. If you're holding a bucket and it's too heavy, your arm's probably super straight and your hand is straight, and there's a pail, and we're gonna have to move this bucket down a little bit, which is fine, just depending on how big our character is. His hand bent out to kind of one up himself up here, and probably looking up in this direction. So we'll give him just a crossbar. Here's our sand castle. Like I said, I just drew a castle. I'm just kind of burnt out on drawing castles. I just kind of like the idea of like haunted beach, like just what kids that would be. Maybe vampires or like zombies, what they would make at the beach. There could be somebody kneeling here. In the sand. I just don't know what to draw for the actual castle. If it was realistic, it would look like the buckets, because they would have just flipped over buckets of sand, right? Let's take this out of here. Let's take the castle part out of here. I don't like any of that. I don't like where it's placed. I don't even know if I really like the size of all this. Okay, let me just sketch something else out. So I was thinking, where's that leg gonna go? I don't know. Kids get real bendy when they're playing. Maybe this leg goes this way. Right? This leg comes out. It's going here. This foot needs to be at a different angle. Let's just quickly mark that in. Let's put the torso here. And maybe, that's kind of what I wanted. I can bend the knee up, put the leg this way, put the foot more forward, right? I think that can work. And this leg goes way out that way, which means our sandcastle can be a sand volcano, right? Can't I just make it a sand volcano? And his friend's helping him over here. So there's like a cliff to the water. Breaking the beach. And then he'd have an arm here, maybe shaping the sand volcano. And arm here. Holding a shovel, like one of those little kid shovels. Practice, practice, practice. Draw the arm back. Let's kick it down a little bit, just to give it more shape. Okay, head. Face is looking down a little bit. I won't be able to do that until I get the right head shape. Maybe looking questionable at it sideways. Sometimes the head shape just does its own thing. This leg's way too small. And then sand, right? And then beach umbrella maybe? You might not be able to see it. Or you may be able to see a lot of it. Who knows? Maybe they've turned it so like the center's here. You know? Sometimes those umbrellas are fancy. You can turn them, which would put shade in this area. It doesn't look, none of that looks correct though. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the post has to go there somewhere. Sandcastle. Sand haunted house. just be easiest to do a sand, like a traditional sand castle. Let's look for inspiration. Now it's kind of like dropping the skin on something. It's like, okay, well, that's kind of what I want it to look like. But maybe put the post for the umbrella in front of him. That way we would know it's shade, but we can also put shade, you know, just barely be able to see it. I don't know, I'll have to work on the umbrella a little bit. But like there, and then probably has like a beach towel going this way, but vanishing point. I don't know. This beach towel would be like laying like this. Sometimes perspective is so hard to understand. Beach towels like that. You might have like something over here. Lunchbox. What kind of lunchbox would he have? Just depends on who he is, I guess. Who that? So just rough boxing things in. Castle. This castle's all bendy. Like it's made out of jello. Ooh, that's a scary thought. Jello and sand mixed together. Just drawing in a castle just to see what it looks like because the volcano's not helping me visualize things. Bendy castle. Now sand would never act this way, so I can't use this. But sometimes it's just fun to play with your imagination a little bit and put some better placeholders. Give some more character, you know. Try to see if you can get the story to unfold in front of you. What is this? Do they need a hat? They need to not be bald. It's not the way you want to be making things. I'll fix this leg here too. But I mean, if you want a castle, there you go. Could put a moat in here. Am I not taking this seriously enough? I'm just sitting here thinking, I was like, I should have done a castle and a little witch like casting spells and like making this castle happen, and have her dressed in like the Fantasia outfit like Mickey. I don't want to get canceled, but like, you know, yeah, wizard's hat and then like a robe. But then the buckets would be walking by themselves. I bet you guys, the guys at Disney got so used to drawing the same character over and over again. Like, oh, let's give him some cheeks. And you start getting Mickey Mouse. I like that castle, but only because it looks super weird. And I would probably put like another. Oh, I know what I should have done. I'm dumb. Should have drawn a chess piece. There you go. I've done it. I've drawn a chess piece. Should have drawn a chess piece. I'm going to take a quick little 2-minute break and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Still kind of working through ideas. I really need to get something done. Alright, let's just do a little bit of research since we're here, and let's hop over to our desktop. But I need to do something first. Okay, good. Desktop. Let's go to Google. Let's just do a quick search for castle. Just get a little bit of inspiration. Castle the show. I wish I knew anything about the show. Oh, the Disney castle. Yeah, that's where I went with Mickey Mouse, I guess. There's like real castles in the world. I did do Dracula's castle. The one that's in Transylvania, I believe. Last. Sorry, I didn't put you guys onto the desktop. I don't know why that didn't work out that way. So here's a lot of different types of castles. Wow, look at this one. That's wild. Very secure, almost too secure. It just looks like a DIY castle. Like, oh, I made it myself. But every castle, I guess somebody had to make it. There's facts about castles. That's a pretty cool looking castle. It'd be cool to make a... I don't know why I keep switching over. It'd be cool to use like a haunted mansion. Oh, that's a Disney haunted mansion. Of course. A haunted mansion, wouldn't that be like a castle to the undead? I don't know. Like it says, it's all the way you interpret it. Castle or no castle? What are they building? What character is this? How are we going to play this out? Got a lot of ideas that we don't like. How about an idea that I do like? I think I'm going to make the haunted house anyways. So we're going to use this one probably as most of our reference because I do like this one. Creative Fabrica. But let's switch back over into the split screen so that we have both. And we can see both. There we go. Alright, perfect. So, haunted house. We're going to say our vanishing point is here. I guess if you want something to look haunted, put a spider, strategic location, spider web, black cat, bats. Yeah, that's all adding filler. I need to get the castle done first. And I feel like it's... Oh. Wait, didn't Dracula have a castle? Or is it Dracula's... Isn't it Dracula's castle? But I already did Dracula's castle. I already drew this one. Let's foresee, I kind of want to do more of the fictional one. I want something more cartoony. Or like, originally like this shape. I guess I can shape it. I just referenced this though for the last one, for path on day 3. Okay, I don't know why I'm... Okay, let's just say we have Dracula's castle. Can we make a young looking Dracula? His hair parts on the side like this. And this hair is very much tapered to the side of his head, like so. And this, his hair goes off to the side of his head like that. Very nice and neat cut. And he does have hair over there, but we just need to make, because he has those ears, right? So that's a good point to make his ear, because he's kind of leaning over, so we could put a pointy ear here. Since he's young, there's less definition. I feel like Dracula would be wearing like as much layers as he possibly could. And now this is going to change this whole scene, because now it's going to be at night. His torso's too long. I kind of wanted a baby Dracula. Okay, this is coming together better. Alright, I know what direction this is going in now. I need to get better at drawing eyebrows. Because those never look right. His chin needs to be smaller. I think it needs to be... Okay. Still, not in the right place. This is like a teenage Dracula. That might have to work for today. But he'd be wearing like... What would Dracula wear to the beach as a teenager? So I'm going to draw Dracula's castle as like a figment of his imagination. Let's see, his torso's too long to be a little kid. Right? He's probably wearing like those short pant suit thing. The old timey movies with the guys that come out, they're wearing like these weird suspended, striped. Because I mean, you can't get in the sun. Oh, they have cartoon castles of Dracula's castle. I don't like these as much. I think I'm going to model it after the original one, but make it kind of cartoony. So it looks like he's building the original castle. I wish it would just give me like a... Okay, there's the frontal picture, I guess. So, big round turret building here. I think it's weird. I'm gonna draw a line straight across. Am I gonna be able to fit it? That thing is about a little bit more than half the size. A little less than half the size. So maybe bring it in a little bit closer. I know I just drew this one. I feel like I'm cheating, but it's okay. It's okay. Everything's gonna be alright. We're just gonna quick sketch like where everything should sit. Because we're trying to get things done. Yeah. Maybe. My real kind of idea with this story is to tell the story of a young Dracula who's gone to the beach, who is building an imaginary building that later he would build in real life. That's kind of the plan. Like if you had to draw a picture of Dracula's childhood, what would it look like? I like to give a little bit of a story to my picture other than just drawing the normal. There seems to be like a little house here. Probably the gatekeeper lived in a nice spot. This little house looks big enough for me to survive. There's gonna be like puddles of sand And then there is a wall that connects these two, so this wall goes straight across to here almost. This drops off a little bit under this and goes to the peak of that. That goes up. Then we have the turret from here, which we're going to draw. That has actually a bump and then goes up. Like so. And then there's just a million different things in here. There's a bunch of little windows at the top here. So let's just draw in some small details that he might have put in. I do have to transform all this into sand, so that's going to be a whole other problem. There seems to be like a big window here and a small window. Wonder what the difference was. Maybe some just let in a little bit of light. It looks like those let in light in a stairwell of some sort. Okay, so there's like striations on this roof. Come down, help give it shape. Whoops. That was like not the line I wanted to make. Alright, then behind this, quite a bit above, but we can't draw it that high above because we need to save space. We have a peaking tower with a guard tower on the very top, it looks like. Whew. I barely made it. I barely made it. And it's on like a slant too, so it's kind of crazy how this guard tower is actually set up. This place would be cool to see in real life. Maybe one day I'll travel and I'll go see it. But it's probably, I think it's really far out of the way from things, as well as this is all it is. I think I remember watching a Viva La Bam or something where they take a Lamborghini out there to try to see Dracula's castle, and it ends up being closed or something, which is a pretty big bummer. So the wall comes down here. And we're gonna just draw this chimney. It's on the side of the building here. And we have another roof that comes out here in the background. And then one more bigger roof that comes here, which does more of a split roof thing. And then goes straight across basically. And then we go down. There's some more windows back here in the background, which I can put all the windows in later. It's not really all that important. It's this mess in the middle that gets kind of funky. Like, there's a lot going on in there. Okay, so above this, so let's just draw this a little bit better. Because the other side I put so much like actual detail in. So this side we're coming up here with this round. It's round, but the thing looks flat. And then we have a wall that runs alongside of that. Man, Dracula, what were you designing here? And then you have, nope, that's wrong. You have a line that runs this way, and then you have a line that kind of, wow, I'm like, my keyboard is totally in my way. And then what's our next shape that we're gonna draw? Oh, this shape. So it's like a barely facing that way, but giving us a bit of room. And then we have this over, this one goes like this and up to the steeple. And then there's like a double layer of, it runs down from here, but comes across and goes this way. And then the roof runs that way. It's pretty tough. It's a lot of drawing. And then there's this roof that runs from here across, and then above this one there's just a little extra tower. Right? Draw this across and then down. Actually, there is a little tiny triangle right here that brings that up to there. And then, man, there's so much going on. The inside of this place must be crazy. Just the outside, I'm like, the architecture, I'm like, what is happening here? How do I draw this in perspective? So there's like this, and then there's like another tier. Oh, there's a small house here, window thing. I don't know. Lots of stuff going on here. Pretty sure this is the best we're going to be able to do. And that's okay, because that's a lot more than I thought I was going to get in. There's another chimney here. Chimney. There's like a ridge there. There's a ridge here. There's a ridge that goes right behind here. And then this goes up a little bit. And then we have another ridge here. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's as good as we're going to be able to do for our castle. Now we'd have to add in Dracula, and that might be a little difficult. So you could put bats here. Moon would be out. If the full moon's out, this should not be Mickey, it should be a werewolf. Whoa. I don't know if I could draw a werewolf. elbow. He has fingers though, so I want to know what his hand's holding. Little kid plastic shovels. Looks like a wine glass. He should be holding something that he's going to put on top of it. Maybe he's holding a little version of himself. Little Dracula, he's flying it through the air. Oh, if he was holding it, he'd be pinching it from the bottom. Most likely. That's such a weird hand angle. Why would I ask? Why would I do that to myself? Little action figure. A little cape on it. Wouldn't that be funny if Dracula's like all-time hero was Superman, because Superman was the only other person who could fly? I think that's a pretty cool scene. I gotta get his hand into better order and get rid of the bats here. But he could be holding onto like an action figure who I think should look like Dracula. Because I mean, let's face it, every young vampire's dream must be to be Dracula. Oh, he's too far back. I like can't figure out where he's holding him. So like, if you were a kid holding a paper airplane flying it like action figure, I have one right here. If I was flying it around, oh, head popped off. Oh dear Lord! Don't tell anyone. It's not abuse. Okay, so let's say I had my little figure actioning like so, and I was holding him behind, holding her. This one's a she, holding her like this, like flying her in, right? Ooh. That's a lot of hand motion. So if he was flying it in and he's holding it, you're seeing a lot of thumb, and all the other fingers are hiding. So you're seeing a lot of thumb, right? Then you're seeing action figure head, and he's got a body, so we can draw the same basic frame structure for him as you would anything else. Torso, but that might be too big too. Head, torso. I think torso, I think legs. Need that big collar. but mostly you just need the cape flying through the air. You don't even see that much thumb. Because it's mainly just cape. I don't know, you'd see the top of his head too, so maybe he could be trying to look forward. We'll put like a little bit of and a face. Maybe Dracula's arm is out. But it's probably back towards him. Pull the cape back. Dracula has a very distinguished look. Collar is very important. Maybe we should put the collar on him too. Even though he's at the beach, he's still wearing his Dracula collar. Need to fix this shoe, his leg a little bit. Let's put in some windows. Here's 2 windows in the front of this building. But the roof doesn't even go that way. There's no roof. Oh, this building's crazy. So now we can figure out what the lunchbox is going to be. But let's put the normal clasp up here and that weird handle. Like lays to one side or the other. You know what I'm talking about. Put the lunchbox there. You got Dracula playing with the castle. I'm going to have to turn this into a werewolf. Werewolves are always ripped. Usually are not wearing shirts, unfortunately. But do wear loincloths, luckily. Maybe that wasn't so hard after all. Still gotta do the face. How about Mickey? And I gotta give him more shape, of course. Like, this is really bad. He doesn't really have all that much shape. I need to learn how to draw a wolf's face. There's way more dog in a wolf. Maybe he's howling. Should be howling at the moon. Why'd I draw his face wrong? He needs to be looking higher up. This jaw's down. This jaw's up. Face. Looking up. Ear. Ear. Face. Neck needs to be elongated a little bit. Ear. Eyes are closed if you're howling. And then you have fur. He's got fur coming out from the front of his face. This is just rough. Of course, we're going to clean it all up, but just trying to get the concept down and the idea across. Well, it's about that time. We're coming to the end of what we're doing here. I think I want to move this pale maybe up a little bit. I like the moon. I like our werewolf. I think he needs a little bit more definition somehow. One way or the other. Whether it be to bring the face out a little bit more, or I just need to fix the way the mouth is opened. Because he's going to need teeth too, which will look pretty cool. But his head's way back here, and he might need a little bit more girth on the actual back of his head. The back of his neck would be really shortened because he's like crunching his head back there. And you might need to see a little bit more of the side of his face. But this would still be reaching up to grab onto the side of that. This would probably be more beefy. I haven't seen any real skinny werewolves out there. So we're going to draw this wolf-like ear in. Give it a little bit of dimension. He's going to need some hair coming out from the back of that. Something's wrong with this mouth, but I'm going to get it fixed probably tomorrow or later this evening. Maybe the nose is too narrow. Need to widen it up. I'll have to look at the difference between wolves and like coyotes and stuff like that so I can get a proper idea of what's happening. I think this pale needs to be actually, shaped to holding water. And we can put some bats up here to kind of add into that negative space. Maybe we do want to put that umbrella so that it's hanging down a little bit, So that's coming around and kind of encapsulating him a little bit more, giving him more of a frame. But I'll work on that a little bit because that needs some. I could draw it in real quick just to see what it looks like. But it still needs more detail and definition. It's not. This is the front of the umbrella. So this goes this way. You know, here we got the stick that goes up into the umbrella. Probably got a mound of sand that goes around the bottom of this. Like it's flat. Yeah, I think that's gonna be what all she wrote for tonight. We're gonna shape all this stuff and get a little bit better of a look at it with a fresh pair of eyes tomorrow, but I feel like that is looking good, better than what I thought was going to happen today. Oh, like another little beach party going on over here, you know, umbrella. I don't know, maybe not fill too much space. Let's just take it easy for now. Let it sit for a bit. Come back. Take out all the lines. And tomorrow I should have a finished product for today's, and we'll start on day 15 tomorrow night. Anyways. Okay, looks good. Very original and goes well with Halloween. Thank you, Kylie. And as always, thank you for stopping by and watching and sitting here and giving me input. It's always encouraging to have viewer input when you're sitting drawing by yourself. But that's going to be it for this episode of Inktober. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I know it's Saturday night, so most people are out probably not watching live streams. But if you are inside and you did hang out tonight, I do appreciate it. And we will be back here tomorrow for another Inktober with day 15. Thank you and have a good night. Peace.